Hello, investor and trader. Welcome back to an episode. So I got a comment asking me to do analysis on 5 Pacific EV stocks. So this video will be about that. Before I continue, I'd like to disclaim that I am not a financial advisor or a stock guru or even claim to be one. I'm just a random guy on YouTube that likes to trade stocks and invest in the stock market. So let's get straight into it. So first stock, NIO. So I can see right here, NIO is falling, right? Just like the market during the last week, right? Last week sell off. But notice this candle. I like this candle right here. If you go to the bigger picture, you can see what's going on. So that before I get you guys confused, it looks like 31 been holding up pretty good, right? Right here. So it breakout right here back in October 2020, retested right here, retested right here. So obviously three times, right? All you need is 3 times to confirm. Okay, 31 is a level of support. On top of that, remember it is a weekly chart. This is the 100 moving average right here, EMA, and combined with this two to support plus with this moving average, a lot of buyers or investors, we're gonna call it, be watching this right here. That's why I push the stock up. Very common sense, right? No magic right there. All right, now let's go to the daily. So as we can see now, all these moving averages right here are going to act as a resistance. All I can say is one candle at a time, one day at a time. So we don't know the future, who knows, maybe next week some more bad news about China delisting whatever, next thing you know, NIO go back to the downside, right? But as for now, the daily formation looks pretty good. So RSI is sloping up, stochastic is sloping up. We have the bottom of the channel also, so that's a good news. So tomorrow, I would like to see this stock create a higher high. Since it's a $30 stock, I like to see 5 or 10 cents above. Where my stop loss? This is very common sense. Either right here or ultimately down here below this wick right here. Now you do the ratio, right? Because this right here, like what, you're risking $2 ish, so your reward should be somewhere up here. Makes sense. But if you're very safe, conservative, like I am, like a chicken, maybe you want to put your stop loss much bigger, like a $5 stop loss. But then again, your $5 up here anyways, right? All the price action here, so it's still reasonable. Or just reduce your size, right? There's so many ways to attack this trade. But we can clearly see the next resistance at 37. So tomorrow, I like to see a higher high. Or tomorrow could be an inner candle. I mean, notice today it up almost 6%, which is pretty significant. So tomorrow, I would not be surprised if we have an inner candle right here, or slightly higher high. Now, there's a difference between a real breakout and a breakout. Hopefully, you guys understand that. So let me give you an example real quick on a side note. Okay, here's the resistance, right? Stocks. So let's draw a candle. So here's the candle below. Okay, and then the candle does this. This right here, let's say it closed right here. This is not a breakout. We are not near the breakout because it's still not above. I want to see the entire candle like this above this resistance, because if not, it's called a false breakout. And then this right here. That's why it is so important to see a confirmation. So be aware of that. There's a real breakout and a false breakout. But that's how I would attack this trade for the coming days. But the bigger picture, let's go back to the weekly because there's the bigger time frame. Let me draw some lines right here. So far, we do know this support holds pretty good. Also, there's another one right here too. So they tell me, right, lower high and lower high. Notice the same base, creating this little triangle. So NIO eventually has to pick a direction, either to the upside or to the downside. The upside, we have to take out this previous high right here, right? Because of this previous high, and then continue to the upside. The downside, kind of common sense, is around 20 bucks, 21-ish right here. Same thing. Well, first maybe hit here, bounce around a little bit out of the mid 20s, and then eventually down to the 20. So it depends how you want to approach this trade. Let's go out to the bigger time frame, the monthly chart. Same thing right here too. So this 20 monthly EMA is holding, right, along with the support right here, like I keep drawing. Let me draw one more time. Around the 31. But notice something here on the monthly chart. RSI and stochastic is sloping down. So there's a high probability that it could continue to the downside. It just depends how this month works out. Remember, this is a monthly. We still have 3 more weeks to determine What kind of candle is it? It looks like right here, 3 consecutive higher high, but this candle over here, not looking good, not looking good. Look how big this candle is compared to these two. You see what I mean? So, you just want to play it safe, like the longer time frame. Like as an investor, I'll probably wait for this to retest 30, nibble some shares down to the low 30s. Because right now the mid 30s, that's like more than 10% right there. And ultimately, I like to see if it hits this again in the 20s, or buy some right here. But worst case scenario, worst case scenario, do not be surprised if it goes down here. Now, it's not going to be overnight, be months or quarters if it decides to break below 10. You think it is impossible? Check out Alibaba. Then you will know exactly what I'm talking about. Because nobody expects Alibaba to be $100 right now, or $110 at one point, a couple days ago, right? It was a $300 stock at one point. On top of that, Alibaba had a stronger fundamental than NIO. So that can happen to NIO, sorry, happen to Baba, it sure can happen to NIO. So be aware of that. As an investor, dude, if you're long term like Warren Buffett, who cares? Buy some here, even buy some here if you want. Because in 10 years, 5 years, I don't know what the hell this stock going to do. It's like a lottery ticket by then, right? But fundamental, NIO is not a bad company. But the only thing I don't like about NIO is that all the EV stocks, not just NIO, all the EV stocks right now are high evaluation. So you guys are paying a premium right now if you guys are investing in today's market price. Next stock, PLUG, Plug. Okay, Plug, same thing. They all travel the same thing from the same sector. Stochastic slowly sloping up. Same thing for the RSI. So it looks like we are on the slightly above the 50 moving average. That's a good thing. So the next resistance right here, 38, right? So you decide, again, is decide to attack this trade. I like to buy the next day at a 5 cents or 10 cents above this high. So the high of the day, it was right here. Here's the high, 37.08. I like to buy at 37.15 just to be safe. But again, you need a stop loss, of course, right? So the stop loss somewhere right here, slightly below that candle. So you do your risk to reward, depend how reward you want. 1R or 2R or 3R or 4R. I don't know how many R you want, but 1 to 1 is pretty good, or 1 to 2 is pretty good. But do not be surprised if this continues to the downside, to right here, retest this 200 moving average on the daily. Let's go to the weekly. Weekly not looking hot, because notice the channel over here on those stochastic and RSI at the top, sloping down. So not looking good, but we will see, because we still have like 3 more days of trading, 2 more days of trading, so it's hard to say. But we can see right here, right, going to act as a resistance, and it did. It stopped right here around the 36-ish, right, because this moving average right here. But this candle and this candle is pretty negative, pretty bearish. So we will see. But if you are a long-term investor, I will wait, be patient, and wait for around 25, because these are the most price action right here. Ultimately, the 17 right here, if you're lucky, right, this range right here, buy some right here. If you're lucky, be very patient. Next stock, GP. Now GP, I never heard this stock before. First time. But the analysis remains the same. It looks similar to any other EV, right? Massive run up, pullback. So this is going to act, this price right here is going to act as a key level of support. Now it is holding up right here pretty good, around, not pretty good, but this is the weekly, by the way. So we are at $11. So notice right here the crossover right here. This is also known as the death crossover, or we're going to call it the longer time frame. As you can see, it couldn't cross back up since the beginning of the year, right? So that given said, around 14 is a heavy resistance because it couldn't pass it. You see, it tried it here and it failed, tried it here and it failed. So a lot of negativity for the stock right now. But let me go to the bigger time frame, the monthly chart. Let's see what we get. Monthly chart tells a better story. A bunch of lower highs, lower high, lower high, lower high. See? So if you want to buy the stock for long term, I would definitely wait for $8 or even a $10 range, like right here, because the 50 moving average on the monthly chart is right here. I would nibble some shares right here. Notice the stochastic and RSI sloping down. So in the incoming months, I would not be surprised if this retests $10 or $8. Worst case scenario, I don't know or not, but I see right here. Worst case scenario, maybe $4 or $5. Worst case. But we will see. Remember, this is a monthly chart. It's gonna take several quarters for that to happen if it decides to break down here. Next stock, VLTA. Now this stock I never heard before. My first time seeing this stock. Looks like they just IPO. Okay, so massive run up, pull back around the sevens, massive run up, fell right here, like almost a double top. All the bag holders right here can't wait to get out, so they sell their shares along with short seller, push the stock down. As for now, looks like the stochastic RSI is sloping up, so that's a good thing. But this 50 moving average and all these moving average right here, which is the daily 20 EMA, act as a resistance. So who knows? But the first thing I see here, it has to break above this high right here first, and then continue to upside if that happens. Now let's look at the weekly. The weekly, this right here, the formation is very classic example of reversal. Big red candle, small red candle, small red candle, a doji, followed by a bullish engulfing candle right here, right? Upside. Now right here, same thing, reversal signal, red to green. In fact, this candle a little bit bigger, right? Known as the kind of like a bearish engulfing candle, followed by a lower high and lower low. Confirmation right here, and then short right here, make some profit down. But as for now, on the weekly, we don't know how it closed, but I would not be surprised if we close below 950 because this is the weekly 6 EMA been hitting here like almost every single month, right? Oh, sorry, every single week except for this week right here. So I would not be surprised if we end up the week below 950. Look at the monthly chart. Monthly chart cannot tell as much because this stock just IPO. Last one, Lucid. Okay, daily chart looks okay. So far the 50 bounced off it already, but notice here around 46, going to act as a heavy resistance because I have two moving average. The 6 and the 20 going to act as heavy resistance. Support 39. So this now it can be around this price range, like a $6-7 price range. Now let's go to the weekly, a little bigger time frame to see what it's doing. Now the weekly, I do not like this weekly formation because this is near the top of the channel, right? For stochastic and RSI, notice it's sloping down right here. Ideally, I like to see it at the bottom, like right here, because I know the bottom is eventually has to bounce, right? So now we're at the top because this right here move like sine and cosine wave, up and down, up and down. That's just how it works. So now we are sloping down. So therefore, I can see this probably retest 35. Ultimately, I can see this retest right here, right, around the 26. On top of that, look at this moving average right here. So the 50 weekly EMA. So I'll not be surprised in the next following weeks or months, eventually it's going to retest down here. By then, there's a cast to be down here already. Hopefully, it's pop back up, right, to the upside. Let's go to the bigger time frame, the monthly. Okay, for the monthly, same thing. This 6 EMA right here, around 37. So if you're very patient, I would definitely wait for 37 to nibble some shares. But this is the monthly chart. We still have 3 more weeks-ish left for the month of December, just to see what kind of candle it formed. Now, let's say it closed like right here. You know what that means, right? From green to red, and red is slightly bigger or equal same size, there's a high probability that it will continue to the downside. All we need is a confirmation, and then boom, back down to the $20 level range because it had a massive run up. Think about it, from October, from 24, 25, all the way to 50. That's 100% return in 1 or 2 months, or 1 month-ish. Clearly high speculation. Kind of obvious why this thing could not break here, right? Because all the bag holder early this year been holding, can't wait to get out. There are some more bag holder holding in the 60s. So let's say that it decided to squeeze. It could squeeze, a short squeeze. It could squeeze up to here. Again, double top, continue the downside potential. Who knows? But as for now, I would definitely wait. I would say the buy zone is very obvious, right? The buy zone, or if you want to have a position somewhere right here. The buy zone, we're going to call it, right? Very similar to this stock right here. SPCE, same thing, another highly speculative stock, around the 15. Look, see, since 2020. See, you just have to have the patience for it. Right here, and the 20, I would say, is a buy zone or nibble some shares right here, right? And if you're lucky, you get this massive run up. Who knows? Maybe in the future, it's the same thing. You spike up to the 40s. That's a huge return right there. But this is not a bad place to nibble some shares. If you're lucky, ultimately, down here, the low 10s, which is almost approaching. So there's many ways to approach this. The long way, the short way, the investing way, where you don't even care, right? You're just gonna get in and hold it for 5 years, 10 years, or how many years you want to hold it. Because 5, 10 years from now, I don't know what the hell the stock wants to do. Maybe become the next Tesla. Who knows, right? All right, that's my analysis right there. But hold on, before I go, fundamentally, all these EV stocks are extremely overvalued. I repeat, fundamentally, all the EV stocks in the sector as a whole are extremely overvalued. Okay, see you guys in the next video. Bye. That means I'm not buying long term.